Question 7. This is a very big question, lots to do here. Part A, it just says what happens as x gets closer to 2. So as x gets closer to 2, h of x will get closer to, stick a 2 in there, we get 5 over 0. And as this gets closer and closer to that, of course, that gets higher, closer and closer to infinity. It goes off larger and larger and larger. Part B, and the classic way of doing this would be to set off and find out the inverse function first. You don't actually need to. But what we're saying is some number, I'm going to call it A, when you go through the function h, gives you an answer 3. And what we're asking is when you do the inverse of 3, you get A. So actually all I'm doing is I'm putting an A in the original function and finding out when that equals 3. And so the A value is 7. Inverse of 3 is going to give 7. Well, actually, for part C, we do have to find out what the inverse function is. So, going to be a bit of rearranging to do here. Sorry. X equals 2y plus 1 over y minus 2. So I'm going to times this up to get xy minus 2x equals 2y add 1. I remind myself what I'm doing. I'm trying to get y all on its own. So I'm going to take away the 2y and add those 2x's. And then I'm going to factorize out and divide. And now's when you're thinking, well, sort of what values can't I put in here? The question originally said x can't equal 2. So again here, look, I can't have a 2 on the bottom here. And the last part, part D, says, again, more work to do, says, what numbers do I put in here that give themselves? And so, I hope I've got room to do this. So if I write down that function again, this time I want them to equal themselves. So I want it to equal x, and I need to solve this equation here. So timesing up the x minus 2, dragging everything over to one side, and then solving that quadratic. When you solve in that quadratic on the calculator, you get 2 plus or minus root 5 as the two elements that actually, if you put that into there, you get 2 plus or minus root 5.